Good afternoon and welcome to our lesson today, where I wanted us to continue from where we had stopped from. And last time, I remember we were able to define communication, we were able to look at the different challenges that we face when we are also communicating. We're also able to look at the different forms of communication, the advantages and the disadvantages, and also the application of these different forms of communication. Now remember, as a secretary and also as a customer care consultant, it will be very important for you to be able to understand how to express yourself. One of the main ways under which you need to know is that you will need to understand what are some of the parts of speech, grammar, because how you express yourself, how you communicate, will be able to give the other person the feedback that is intended for. Therefore, we come now into a situation whereby we have to understand, and we'll also have to get to know what is it that is expected of us in terms of grammar. Remember, we have got cases of where people are not able to express themselves fully through, remember we mentioned that language is a barrier to effective communication. Therefore, how you express yourself, how you construct your sentences, how you put the correct punctuations also is enough to determine if that message is going to be perceived as it is. So we'll go into the parts of a speech. One of the main parts of a speech is what we call a noun. I'm sure you're going to ask me, these things we did them when we were in high school. Yes, we did them when we were in high school, but also it is important, it is part of the course outline for some of us who are pursuing these different careers. So we'll be able to define a noun, and we say it is a word that describes, or that is used to refer to either a person, a place, or a thing. For example, Juma. Juma is a person, girl, also a tree. These are examples of nouns. Why are we trying to tell you some of these things? We're trying to tell you some of these things because we know when you're coming up with reports, when you're coming up with certain, for example, if you're in a meeting, how do you construct, how do you use the correct nouns, to define different circumstances? We'll also be able to define what an adjective is, and we say an adjective describes the noun. For example, the big tree. So big here becomes the adjective. Then we'll also be able to look at other definition of verbs. What are verbs? We say verbs describes either actions or state of being. For example, she was walking, something that happened. It describes something that had happened. It describes an action. She was walking. She is cooking. So that is what we define as a verb. We'll also have words like, other definition of pronouns. So this one takes the place of a noun. For example, instead of you saying James, you will say he, she, her, him, etc. We've got a conjunction. Now conjunction means what? Joining of two grammatical units. For example, you can say somebody is smart and intelligent. You can say tall and handsome. You can say she is beautiful and something else. So you call join. We'll also talk about the interjections. Now, interjections are words that show emotion, feelings, or reaction. For example, gosh, yeah? I mean, I know most of us are used to saying OMG, you know, you don't say that. Gosh, Allah, you know, it's trying to describe some level of shock. Then we also have got the punctuation. Now, punctuations are things like what? Question marks, comma, full stops. These are things that we are you would think they are very common, but these are very important, and especially for some of us who are pursuing the Kenya National Examination Council. So what is a full stop? Yeah, a full stop is just a mark that is placed at the end of a sentence to indicate either the end of that conversation. Yeah, so you indicate that you ended at that conversation or that sentence by putting a full stop. So what are some of the uses? It is used to indicate a pause. It is also meant for purposes of abbreviation. For example, if you wrote KICC, so this full stop there is used for purposes of abbreviation. It is also used when there are titles. For example, if you write the word prof, yeah, and you put a small title, you can also write doc, yeah, then a small dot. We also have got a comma, which we say it is used to indicate the separation of elements within the grammatical structure of a sentence. It is used to set off a noun of address or a phrase in opposition. For example, Mr. Peter, comma, please clarify. Okay, so this comma is meant to indicate, yeah, or it's meant to show an address in an opposition. Also, it is used as a series of adjectives. So where you say she met a tall, dark, handsome man. Okay, so that comma is used to describe the adjectives. So we also have a semicolon, and a semicolon looks like this. So a semicolon is also used to connect independent clauses. Yeah, it shows relationship that happens within a certain period. For example, if a sentence are so closely related in meaning, that is, they are not desirable to separate them by a full stop, they are separated by a semicolon. For example, you can say the meeting was attended by so and so, and then you indicate a semicolon at the end of that sentence. Of course, you've got the question mark. Now, a question mark is meant to describe or is meant to indicate a question. Yeah, for example, where has she gone? Yeah, you put the question mark to indicate that there is a question. We've got the apostrophe, we've got the dash, we've got the capital letters, etc. So therefore, why is it important for us to be able to learn these particular skills? Remember, you might find yourself in a situation where you have to write letters. You might also find yourself in a situation where you have to give reports. Therefore, the way you construct your sentences, the way you express yourself should be in a way, it should be in a manner under which people will be able to understand you. People will be able to get the message as it is intended. Now, on that particular topic, on the grammar or the parts of speech, I have shared with you notes. I have given you examples, of specific issues. Like example, when I came to talk about nouns, I've given you so many examples, of how you're able to describe a noun. The same applies to the verbs, the adverbs, etc. So I'm hoping that with those examples, you should be able to understand. You should be able to put this particular skill into practice. Remember, even as we continue to move on, you might find yourself getting to learn how to write a summary. So when you're writing a summary, some of these skills, the grammar skills come in very handy. So I hope with those few remarks, I've been able to explain, or I've been able to give just a preview of the actual notes that I've shared on the portal. Otherwise, I wish you a very good day.